Zangling and salutations, my lovely little lunatics. It's me, your good old friend, Insanity. And this is a little insane. Same blog, I don't know the difference between, I think this may be Memoirs of Madness might be more so about, they're just gonna be the same. I think I may combine them into one. Because Memoirs of Madness was originally about all the shit that I have to deal with. Mentally. Madness. Memoirs of Madness. But then I don't do much insane vlogs anymore, and they kind of correlate together. But anywho, this is just a little vlog for the 10th of May. Oh my god, it's already May. And last 2 months, I think I put on 15 pounds. I do work out some, but the problem is with the shoulder and all, I couldn't work out. And now I've got a bit of a belly. Okay, well, yeah, bit of a belly. Belly. So, anywho, this whole thing, there's gonna be a lot more vlogs, and I think of stuff like that. I think I may just be more candid in these vlogs. Maybe eventually do some kind of story time vlogs where I continue a story from week to week to week about hallucinations, because, well, if you get rid of the multiples, which is mostly to me being tortured and murdered and horrific shit like that, probably got well over a billion years worth of vlogs for story time kind of stuff. Story time for vlogs, which, what the fuck are you talking about, Insanity? Let me give you a quick rundown. Ever since I was 7, I've been hallucinating. Every day. Sometimes, not every day, more like 3-4 times a week, sometimes multiple times in a day. And the whole thing is, while the hallucination in real time may last only a couple of seconds, in the hallucinational world, anyone remember Digimon? In the original season, I think I watched the first, second, maybe the third, and that was about it. But how, they're gone for months and months, and like, wait, it's been 5 minutes. That's kind of how it is, but to an extreme degree. Most of my hallucinations last about 5 to 10 seconds max, real world time, and can last usually between 100, per second, 100 to 100,000 years per second. Some last longer than that. I've had some where it's basically, I hallucinated for 10 seconds. I was gone for about 200 billion, no, not 200 billion, 200 million years. And, well, how do you know that, Insanity? How do you understand the concept of time? It's weird, because I can actually kind of, even in the torturous ones, it's a time clock, and it keeps tabs of time. And it's that whole thing, kind of like at the end of it, I get a rough estimate of how long I've been there. But like the good one, like 90% of my hallucinations are me being tortured, murdered, or being forced to watch everyone I love tortured and murdered. That's 90% of the altogether. It's as of this week, it is over 32 billion years. 32 billion years of hallucinations in my mind. And 90% of that is of that horrific shit. The other 10% is pretty much every movie or any book or anything I could ever think of. I've traveled the universe. I've been before the Earth was created, after the Earth was created. I've lived my own Mass Effect story. I've lived through the Witcher series as my own character, that own life. I've lived hundreds and thousands of lives going through all this shit. I've lived on the planet that was there before Earth and was a hero, a very powerful hero who fought all the way through it, then had the world destroyed, and what was rebuilt was our moon and our Earth, and I lived through that to this time, all the way up to 1,000 years into the future. I have been God, I have been the villain, I have been a simple fucking nobody with a wife and a child. Now, basically, the wife and child are pretty much the same every single time. There are some variants, and there are some stories that are just kind of, I've lived many, 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 many lives. And, like I said, this has been going on since I was 7. Pretty much, but the thing is, from 7 to 10, those years were more whimsical, more fantasy and stuff like that. But when I hit 10, that's when the torture and all that shit started. And there have been plenty of times where I live out those lives. I get to like 60 to whatever, I finish a life. And then, boom, I'm right back here in real life. That happened all throughout high school. And that led heavily into my depression. That did not help my depression, because being 60 years old, a metal worker who has built armor and stuff and all that kind of stuff, lived through mythical events and stuff like that, gone to war, found a wife, had children, and then just you go to sleep, or just it just might cut off, and then you wake up in reality, and I'm sitting at a desk at 16 years old. And the realization that none of it mattered, none of it was real. That my wife and child, gone. There were times I broke down in class and I of course lied about it. I kind of was just, I told them I was like, anxiety attack. But, so I've got plenty of stories to tell. I may kind of reconstruct some of them. I may tell you about, there's one, though, that a friend of mine, she's a lot like me. She fits my crazy wavelength, and it pains me so much that we're no longer friends. And I always, that's that one thing, you find that one person that basically you could imagine spending the rest of your life with. That was her, but she never saw me that way. And I'd rather be friends with her than not be able to date her. So we became friends. But over time, she had other priorities, and she chose them. You gotta do what's best for you. I believe she's wrong, because those priorities kind of line up constantly with the same shit over and over again. That's the main reason we connected so well. But I can't stop her. And I gave her my 2 cents, and we really have not talked for nearly 2 years now. Makes me really sad, but hell, whatever. That's also the main reason I'm not going to date, is because that whole opposites attract things makes no sense to me. Because someone opposite of me is the kind of person I don't want to be with. They're very boring. They're very stale, stuck in very realistic ways. Someone who matches my wavelength of eccentricity or crazy, more so hopefully eccentricity, because I've met several girls who have met my wavelength of crazy, and they've all tried to kill me. But if I found someone, that's the whole thing. I pretty much, when I date someone, they become the center of my universe. That's it. I don't mean to be the good guy so much, but I treat you as a human, I treat you as an individual, and I treat you the way I expect a person should treat a person that they truly care about, that they are dating. To the best of my ability. Yeah, there are times that shit happens with me, but I don't ever go after the other person, even with the one girl who caused me 2 heart attacks. Well, I don't think caused, but she was a very good reason as to the stress of it. I treated her like she was the center of my universe. And that's the whole thing. I was like, I don't know. I refuse to be. It's that whole thing. I don't longer go after girls or any dating because of that reason. It's like, I'm not gonna be the bad guy. I could easily be that shitbag. I could easily be the shitbag. I have the capability of it because I don't give a fuck anymore. But I don't. I just decide to say fuck it and not try anything and not do anything. Like, fuck it, I don't care. You're a waste of my time. But that's one of those things I think I may do story time. But no, as I was saying, like that one girl, we created a world. Because we went to go see How to Train Your Dragon. And the whole world started off with a simple question. As the movie finished, I was like, how do dragons go? And she went, rah! And if you go back on my Vines, you can find her somewhere, her old friend Rebecca. She's one of those people that if I could go back in time and change the things that made her boyfriend not like me, I'd do it, because her friendship to me means that much. Because we created our own world. And now that world, due to the hallucinations, all that, has taken off. Her, I honestly don't think she gives a shit anymore. I don't think she ever thinks about it anymore. But for me, it's been a big reason as to why I'm still here. Because I personally believe that I've come to accept the train of thought more often, But well, as I'm going to explain it now, I believe I've died twice. Like, legitimately had death experiences. Because one of the heart attacks, I remember very clearly meeting an individual, death, and talking with them for a bit, and then there was nothing. There was no heaven. There was no hell. And then the second time, I remember this was, I don't remember what this was, but I suddenly just, my head started hurting really badly. I started shaking, convulsing, and just, boom, gone. And, woke up with a friend just crying over me, and then she had, she looked at me, just like, there was no pulse. There wasn't breathing. And, for like 2 minutes, no, not 2 minutes, altogether, it's been roughly 2 minutes that apparently I believe I've been legally dead. But, none of those times I went to the hospital because there were situations where, the hospital would have been the worst thing, because people would have found out just how fucked up my mind is and all that shit, and medication and all. And that second situation, that was a bad situation, because apparently her friends who were there had some shit that would have been very bad to find. I didn't realize it. I just went over for drinks. And, and that second time, there was just nothing. There was no hellfire, there was no heavenly gates, no light, no nothing. And that thought, that the whole thing is, like, what a lot of people think is that that's the hallucinational state really taking over at that point, and just kind of, because I remember it was not so much nothing as crushing nothingness, like, literally. Imagine being at the bottom of the Marina Trench, and there's nothing below you, there's nothing above you, just crushing depths of darkness, where you can no longer tell if anything's real or not. And that's basically what it felt like to me. And I thought, well, and then I talked to someone about it, and they were like, well, that could literally be your hell. There's no creativity, there's no nothing, or whatever. And I was like, if that's hell, that fucking sucks, because I'm not a bad person. I've never done anything horrible in my life. And if, literally, I don't even get a chance at, boom, hell, then I think God's a bit of a prick. But especially since, even if that was it, and he knew I had all this shit to deal with, and I've called out to him many times, and nothing ever happened, despite me being a pretty good person. I try to be the best person I can be. But, and then the other thing was, it was just like, there is nothing. That's it. There's just darkness. Soul-crushing, mind-numbing darkness. And either of those is another good reason why I haven't killed myself. Call it being a pussy or whatever, but I can't imagine a single fucking person, besides someone who's truly fucked up in the head, who would enjoy that shit. Who would not be fucking terrified of that. And the fact that I would lose all my little ones, all the little dragons and things, and the Holochilla, and the Hollow Bunny, and Namaste, and all the worlds Rebecca and I created. I don't know if they mean shit to her anymore, but thanks to hallucinations and all, I still see them. I go and visit them on a daily basis. I hang out with my little ones, and we continue our adventures even though she is gone. And the fact that just boom, because the whole thing is I suck at writing. I am trying to get better at that because I want to get their story out there. So in case something ever happens, in case the depression gets so strong that I go down and I pick up that 45 and I blow my brains out, their story is there. Because that's one of those things that I can't ever imagine being gone. Just all of them gone, wiped from the face of the earth. It'd be as if a father or mother, and they kill themselves and their child disappears. That's how important this is to me on this. There have been days, especially in the last 6 months, where all I wanted to do was fucking kill myself. And the whole thing of like wanting not wanting my family to find me that way, that has pretty much dried up at this point. And I'm sorry to say it has, but it has, because I've been living for my family for a long time. Like, I remember pretty much since I was like 17. I've been living for my family, because like 16 and 17 and on up until the early 20s, oh god, what I would have given for a random truck to kill me or some shit like that. Then what the like, no, not looking for death, but if shit had happened. And then I stopped giving a fuck, but I still couldn't imagine my mom finding me dead. And that's the whole thing. If shit happened and I died, oh well. I've easily accepted that fact. That's just the way it is. Me killing myself, I'm becoming more and more towards the fact of I can't imagine losing the thoughts in my head than anything. The hallucinations. The Amelia, which has been my wife through so many hallucinations, and Celiana, my daughter. I couldn't imagine them disappearing. I plan to try and devote probably the next decade of my life learning and trying to write all this out. Write down the stories and have them be called something like the Book of Insanity, and just literally being all this stuff. Because I can't imagine it going away anymore. It will probably be shit. Well, it might be good depending on how, because I used to write poetry a lot, and a lot of that poetry I posted online got well received, although it was dark as fuck most of the time. But still, a lot of people loved it. I may actually get most of those. I think I'm going to get back all those poetry, because I still have access to the site where I posted them. And go from there. But I've also started to write children's stories, incorporating the little ones. Like, I don't remember the goddamn, the Dubras. The female, they're like little, imagine little fuzzy little things with little horns and giant eyes, but that's all you see, like little fuzz, horns, eyes, and the females go, and the males go, rah. Dubras. The story would be about a male and female Dubra just traveling the world, and it's called They're Back Again and Somewhere Else. And like, I still remember Rebecca and I were sitting there talking about like how one scene had to be in it, and it's literally they get to like the end of the box world, and then you see the male bra, the bra just go poof, like run into it. Poof. They like have little cloaks and all because they're in the middle of the sand, and you just see go poof, 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 turn to the female, go brah, and she go poof, and he moves 1 foot over. Poof, 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 and you see 2 feet over the other way. Poof, poof, and the other go. And they go, and then they just continue along the edge of the wall. it's stuff like that. And I remember doing the Morgan Freeman. Here we have the Dubra. The male is the slightly larger one with the bigger horns, while the female, though smaller, is one of the more commanding of the species with logic. When there is no real other difference. You can only tell when they have paired for forever, as some say, when they will switch their horns, as you can see here. The female now has horns the size of her body, while the male has ones about the size of his eyeballs. It's just stuff like that. Sit up. Popcorn. But that's the whole thing about this. It's my little thing. And I think I'm going to do this a bit more. Because once again, editing software doesn't really want to work. So I may just upload these whole hog. And that's why, like, the vlogs, I can upload whole hog. And eventually, once I get the money, because only worked 1 day this week. Although, wait. Big thing, I'm going to Comicpalooza. Shit, that tells everyone where I am. Nah, who cares? I'm going to Comicpalooza. I'm going as Insanity. I'm gonna I posted on Instagram the items I'm gonna kind of take, but right now I'm working on the shoulder. It's the same one from last year, but I'm changing it a bit, and I'm gonna put on I'm gonna shoulder paladons or something, the shoulder guards, and I'm gonna have a cape, and then I'm gonna take the Insanity launcher, double-barreled gun of doom, and Bob is gonna be coming with me as a weapon, and it's gonna be awesome. It sure is! Yes, it will be, Bob. It will be amazing. Insanity will strike again. I can bring back the Insanity daycare. Don't ask. But anywho, that's all I want to talk about now. And I will... If you like this kind of thing, then let me know. And don't forget to subscribe for more Insanity!